Okay, so you know that feeling you've had, that sense that something's not quite right with the rising rates of depression and suicide,
Yeah.
especially like as society seems to be changing so fast.
Right.
We dove into some really fascinating material from Paul Joseph Watson.
Oh, okay.
Specifically, his commentary on the infantilization, depression, and the suicide of the population. He's known for his pretty bold opinions.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, this is going to be interesting.
Buckle up.
Yeah.
What really struck me was how Watson, like right out of the gate, throws down this gauntlet with this like really stark statistic.
Okay.
1 in 10 Americans are on antidepressants. Wow. A 400% increase in just 20 years.
That's massive.
It's huge, and it really makes you wonder what's going on, you know?
Yeah, what's driving it?
Yeah.
And Watson, he doesn't shy away from controversy.
No, he doesn't.
He argues that depression is now almost like glorified, particularly among younger generations on social media.
Interesting.
He even suggests that displaying emotional fragility has become a way to like seek attention and validation.
Huh. That's a really interesting point. It makes you think about how like social media dynamics might be shaping our emotional responses.
Yeah.
Is there like a feedback loop where the more we reward emotional displays online,
Right.
the more those behaviors are like reinforced,
Yeah.
potentially even leading to like less resilience?
He even goes so far as to say narcissistic personality disorder is becoming rampant.
Wow.
I'm not a psychologist, but
Yeah.
it's definitely thought-provoking to consider how this constant need for validation might be playing a role in how we experience and express our emotions.
Right. It's a bold claim.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that while Watson brings up these, valid points about potential societal shifts,
Yeah.
he does tend towards strong opinions. But what's important here is that he's highlighting a potential connection, right, between cultural trends and mental health.
And to be fair, he does acknowledge that genuine mental health struggles do exist.
Right.
But he makes this distinction between that and what he calls emotional incontinence. Basically suggesting that that we're overreacting to things that might not warrant such intense emotional responses.
Right. It's like it suggests this lack of emotional control, almost like we're overflowing with feelings at the slightest provocation. This also ties into another controversial claim Watson makes.
Okay.
That we're misdiagnosing depression, as a medical condition.
Okay.
When really it's just dissatisfaction with life, like temporary unhappiness.
He really goes after the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh, yeah?
Arguing that they, along with our culture's obsession with happiness, have pathologized a normal human emotion for profit. He has this very strong statement, I'm quoting directly, "You are entitled to nothing. Happiness is earned."
That's definitely going to make some people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's certainly a stark perspective.
Yeah.
And whether or not you agree with it, I think it challenges us to think about, personal responsibility.
Right.
Is happiness, something we achieve through like external means, or is it something we cultivate internally through our choices and actions?
Watson seems to be advocating for the latter.
Yeah.
His solution is
Like what's his fix?
change your life, make better decisions, and create value instead of relying on medication to achieve happiness.
So he's suggesting that instead of looking for a quick fix,
Right.
we should focus on addressing the root causes, right,
Yeah.
of our unhappiness,
Yeah.
which might involve, some difficult self-reflection and potentially some major life changes.
So let's explore this idea of emotional incontinence a bit more.
Okay.
Watson uses some pretty wild examples, like people crying on reality TV over home renovations,
Right.
or YouTubers gaining popularity through over-the-top emotional displays.
And don't forget the Twitter users crying over things like getting the wrong dipping sauce.
Yeah.
It's like
It's ridiculous.
it does seem like we're surrounded by examples of people reacting very intensely to relatively minor inconveniences.
Right.
What's interesting is that Watson links this behavior back to, narcissism and the reward system of social media.
So he's arguing that this constant need to emote is driven by a desire for attention and validation.
Yeah.
And social media, with its likes, shares, and comments, it provides this perfect platform for this kind of emotional exhibitionism, I guess.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder, if we like took away the online audience, would we still see these like extreme reactions?
Right. Would it even happen? That's
Yeah.
a great question.
And it gets to the heart of whether this emotional incontinence is, a genuine phenomenon or simply a product of, our hyper-connected culture.
Yeah.
It's like we're performing our emotions, right, for an online audience.
Right.
And the more dramatic the performance, the more attention we receive.
And Watson takes this even further.
Right.
He argues that that this emotional fragility is making people easier to control and manipulate.
So his reasoning is that those who, can't control their own emotions are more
Vulnerable.
susceptible to the influence of others.
Right.
Whether it's through, targeted advertising or political propaganda or even just like peer pressure.
He even connects this to political ideology, suggesting that
Often.
with its focus on emotional vulnerability and challenging traditional masculinity, is contributing to this trend.
Okay, that's a that's a pretty bold claim.
Yeah.
And it definitely needs some unpacking. While, encouraging emotional expression can be a good thing. Yeah. Especially in terms of breaking down harmful stereotypes and stuff.
Right.
It's also important to, consider whether there's a potential downside to like constantly emphasizing vulnerability.
Right.
Could it lead to like a decrease in resilience?
Yeah.
And an inability to like cope with difficult situations?
It's a complex issue.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that that Watson isn't afraid to delve into these controversial areas.
Right.
He even points to studies that show that physically stronger men are less likely to support socialist policies.
That's a very specific correlation that he's drawing.
Yeah.
It raises some interesting questions about the relationship between physical strength, emotional resilience, and political ideology.
Yeah. Is there a deeper connection there, or is it simply a coincidence?
That's definitely something to ponder.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that correlation doesn't equal causation.
Right.
But it does make you think about the different factors that might be shaping our individual beliefs and behaviors.
Yeah.
And speaking of beliefs and behaviors, let's shift gears a bit and look at the suicide crisis, something that Watson is clearly deeply concerned about.
Okay.
He throws out some alarming statistics.
Okay.
45,000 Americans die by suicide every year.
Wow.
Double the homicide rate. And he's particularly focused on middle-aged, working-class white men.
And his frustration is palpable. You can really feel it.
Yeah.
He feels like this epidemic is it's being ignored, especially compared to issues like gun control.
Right.
And he criticizes the left for dismissing or even celebrating these deaths.
Wow.
Which is that's a very strong accusation to make.
Yeah. He argues that simply talking about feelings without addressing the underlying societal issues that are driving this crisis is pointless.
Right, like putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound.
Exactly.
He's calling for a more holistic approach, right, to mental health.
Okay.
One that considers not just individual emotions but also the broader social, economic, and cultural factors that contribute to despair and hopelessness.
So what are those factors according to Watson?
Yeah, let's see.
He points to a whole host of issues that are impacting society as a whole.
Okay.
But particularly hitting middle-aged white men hard.
Okay.
Wage stagnation, marriage breakdown, deindustrialization, globalization, and the erosion of community structures.
So he's painting this picture of a demographic that's like
lost
and left behind, struggling to adapt to a rapidly changing world. Their economic security is threatened. Their traditional roles are being challenged,
right?
And they're feeling this sense of alienation, this lack of purpose.
And Watson doesn't hold back on his criticism of the media.
No, he doesn't.
He argues that they're actively demonizing these men for their political choices.
Wow.
Labeling them as racist and bigoted, which only further isolates and marginalizes them.
He brings up the "Okay Boomer" meme as like a prime example of this this dismissiveness,
right?
Arguing that it exemplifies the lack of empathy and understanding for this struggling group.
It's interesting that he sees this generational divide as a symptom of a larger cultural shift,
Right.
a move away from traditional values,
Yeah.
and a growing intolerance for dissenting viewpoint.
It raises the question of how we can bridge these divides and foster more productive dialogue
Yeah.
across generations and ideological differences.
It's definitely a challenge, and it
It's
requires
think so.
a willingness to listen to and understand perspectives that might be different from our own.
For sure.
And while Watson is focusing on on middle-aged white men,
Yeah.
he also points out that it's not just this demographic that's struggling.
Right.
Suicide rates among young people, those aged 10 to 24,
Yeah.
have increased by a staggering 56% in just 10 years.
That's deeply concerning.
Yeah.
And it suggests that there are broader societal trends at play
Right.
that are impacting the mental health of young people as well.
And Watson, once again, points his finger at technology, specifically social media and the smartphones,
Okay.
arguing that they're playing a major role in fostering anxiety, depression, and feelings of inadequacy among young people.
He describes social media as like a carefully curated highlight reel, right?
Yeah.
That bombards young people with images of perfection,
Yeah.
leading to constant comparison and a sense that they're not measuring up.
Right. Think about your own experience with social media.
Uh-huh.
Do you ever find yourself feeling worse about yourself after scrolling through your feed?
It's definitely something we've all experienced at some point, right?
Yeah.
That feeling of envy, inadequacy,
Yeah.
or FOMO, fear of missing out.
Right.
That can arise from spending too much time on social media. We're constantly being exposed to the best versions of other people's lives,
Right.
which can make our own lives feel dull and insignificant by comparison.
And Watson argues that this constant exposure to curated perfection
Can be particularly damaging to young people who are still developing their sense of
Yeah.
self and their place in the world.
Yeah, he suggests that it creates a distorted view of reality
Yeah.
and sets unrealistic expectations, leading to feelings of anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem.
And this brings us to another key point that Watson makes:
Okay,
the lack of purpose.
right.
He argues that both middle-aged white men and young people are suffering from a lack of transcendent meaning in their lives.
He paints a pretty bleak picture of boomers being told they're irrelevant and zoomers being caught in a vapid materialistic culture that offers no higher purpose.
Right.
He even cites this shocking statistic: 89% of young people in the UK feel their lives are meaningless.
Wow.
That's a staggering number.